Kyoryu is an action-adventure game set in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo where you play as a young, genetically modified son of a samurai T-Rex. The story centers around the protagonist's fascination with the remnants of humanity and the struggle between following his overprotective father's expectations and exploring the ruins. The game combines stealth, exploration, and action as you navigate obstacles, make choices, and explore a lush world filled with futuristic skyscrapers and traditional overgrown temples. Unrecord is a single-player tactical shooter that presents the story from the perspective of a police officer's body camera. The game offers a narrative experience filled with complex dialogues, moral dilemmas, and unique shooting mechanics. Players will have to solve criminal cases, investigate clues, and confront various characters while experiencing hyper-realistic graphics that have sparked considerable attention online. Hela is an open-world adventure game inspired by Scandinavian folklore, developed by Wind Up Games and published by Knight's Peak. In this cozy 3D game, you play as a brave little mouse, a familiar to a witch who has fallen ill. The story involves exploring vast Scandinavian landscapes, solving puzzles, and brewing potions to find a cure for the witch. The game emphasizes relaxation, exploration, and community engagement. Atomfall is a survival action game developed by Rebellion Developments, set in an alternate history where the 1957 Windscale nuclear disaster has turned northern England into a radioactive quarantine zone. Players will navigate this post-apocalyptic world, scavenging for supplies, crafting weapons, and making moral choices that influence the storyline. The game is heavily inspired by titles like Fallout, Metro, and BioShock, but with a strong focus on player-driven mystery and narrative exploration. Eriksholm: The Stolen Dream is an isometric, narrative-driven stealth game developed by River End Games and published by Nord Current Labs. The game is set in the early 1900s in the fictional city of Eriksholm, inspired by Scandinavian aesthetics. It follows Hannah, a young orphan, whose brother Herman mysteriously disappears, setting off a chain of catastrophic events that change their lives and the fate of the city.
She's here somewhere!
I respected your decision because I thought you respected me and my business and everything I've done for you.
This isn't about me.
Oh, it's always about you, Hannah, and now you've brought the police here.
They're looking for Herman. Look, I've no idea what he's done, and I don't care. I've just got to find him before they do.
only a matter of
The
time.
remake of Silent Hill 2, developed by Bloober Team in partnership with Konami, is a reimagining of the 2001 psychological horror classic. The game features an over-the-shoulder third-person camera, revamped combat, and new cutscenes to provide both new and returning players with a fresh experience. The story follows James Sunderland as he ventures into the eerie town of Silent Hill, a place significant to him and his late wife Mary, filled with mysterious horrors.
Me. You. We're all the same.
I'm not like you.
Are you afraid?
Killing Floor 3 is the next installment in the popular action horror FPS series developed by Tripwire Interactive. The game is set in the year 2091, where players join the Nightfall rebel group to fight against the Zeds, a bioengineered army created by the megacorp Horzine. It will feature 6-player co-op gameplay, allowing players to earn in-game currency, unlock skills, and build up their arsenal. We Harvest Shadows is an emotional first-person narrative game with farming and horror elements developed by David Whale, the creator of The First Tree. The game follows Garrett, a man who leaves the city to live on an abandoned farm, where he finds solace but also strange, haunting occurrences. The gameplay combines farm management with psychological horror, with a focus on atmospheric storytelling rather than jump scares.
This abandoned farm will be the place where I die. But that day's a way off. At least I hope so. But until then, that leaves me with an
Green Hawk Platoon is an action-packed first-person shooter that lets players control plastic toy soldiers in a variety of environments like the kitchen, bedroom, and backyard. Players can choose different classes, vehicles, and weapons while facing environmental hazards, offering both single-player and multiplayer modes. The game emphasizes nostalgic fun with customizable toy soldier combat.
Frag! Copy that!
Sounds like a plan, Sam.
Enemy aircraft! Hit the dirt! Hope they've got insurance. Whoops! That was easy.
That's about time!
Dune Awakening is an open-world survival MMO set on Arrakis, the desert planet from Frank Herbert's Dune universe. Players will have to survive the harsh environment by learning the ways of the Freemen, manage their resources, and navigate political intrigue to gain control of the spice. The game combines elements of survival, crafting, exploration, and large-scale multiplayer interactions, with a focus on character development and dynamic guild battles involving different factions, including House Atreides and House Harkonnen.
You stay in the sunlight, the more chance you have of getting into the sunstroke state. And of course, our player here, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, has decided to stay in the sun and try harvesting water from plants. So he has become sunstroked. Sunstroke gives you a debuff. It means that your water goes down much faster than it normally would. That means you'll need to drink more often. So stick to the shadows, avoid the sun. It will eventually wear off if you stay in shade long enough. So now that we've made our way out of the first part of the desert.
The Forever Winter is a cooperative tactical survival horror shooter developed by Fundog Studios. Players take on the role of survivors, scavenging for resources while avoiding terrifying and colossal war machines that dominate a post-apocalyptic battlefield. The game features both single-player and online co-op modes, emphasizing tactical gameplay, teamwork, and survival in a dystopian world with AI-controlled factions in constant conflict. The Gothic Remake is a faithful recreation of the classic 2001 RPG developed by Alchemia Interactive and published by THQ Nordic. The game will feature modernized combat, enhanced graphics using Unreal Engine 5, and some new dialogues while retaining the core storyline of the original. Players will step into the role of a nameless hero trying to survive in the mining colony of Corinus, where dangerous convicts and wild creatures roam.
2 decades. We are also focusing our attention on enhancing many aspects of gameplay, such as diverse NPC routines and reactions, more complex crafting, and more rewarding character progression. Despite the passage of time, Gothic remains in the hearts and minds of many players. With the possibilities of Unreal Engine 5 and a variety of modern features, Gothic Remake will soon rekindle that love. Whether you've been a loyal fan for years or are just looking for a true RPG experience, welcome
Permafrost
back.
is an open-world survival game developed by Space Rocket Games and published by Toplitz Productions. The game is set in a world that has been frozen solid after a cataclysmic moon phase event called the Shattering. Players must navigate a bleak urban landscape, scavenging for resources and fending off dangers like natural predators and hostile factions. The game supports both single-player and co-op gameplay for up to 4 players and includes features like building shelters, crafting tools, and managing survival in sub-zero temperatures. Defect is a squad-based cyberpunk FPS developed by Empty Vessel, featuring intense multi-objective matches set in a dystopian city ruled by an authoritarian AI called The System. Players can choose to join the city's ruthless police force or one of the rival gangs battling for control. The game emphasizes tactical combat and offers a mix of PvP and co-op modes for up to 4 players per team. Hunger is a PvPvE first-person horror extraction shooter developed by Good Fun Corporation. The game is set in a dark, post-apocalyptic version of Napoleonic Europe after a plague known as the Hunger has devastated the world. Players will have to scavenge, fight, and complete missions in a dangerous environment filled with monstrous beings and desperate survivors.
Before the herds were driven into the water, and houses burned so hot that the stone melted. Before the old order died. And now you have come. And you bring with you a new
Project M is an interactive narrative action-adventure game developed by NC Soft using Unreal Engine 5. It features hyper-realistic graphics and allows players to shape the story through their decisions. The game is set in a simulated reality where the player's choices impact the progression of the storyline. It will be available for both PC and consoles. Into the Dead Our Darkest Days is a side-scrolling shelter survival game set in Walton City, Texas during a zombie outbreak in 1980. Developed by Pickpock, it tasks players with guiding a group of survivors to safety while managing resources, crafting weapons, and making strategic decisions. The game emphasizes survival horror elements, including balancing the physical and psychological needs of the group while facing zombie threats and desperate human survivors.